tubes. I got 2 rants for the price of 1. We got some Rolling Rock beer mixed with some Mountain Dew, and we got it mixed in the same glass. Now let's get ready to kick some ass. First off, don't let the bullies ruin your life, you know. The first rant. Burger King sued by vegans for Impossible Burger contamination. We want burgers our way. Oh, jeez, here we go again. A bunch of vegans are suing Burger King because they want to have their Impossible Burgers their way, pristine without any meat residue on the grill. Philip Williams just filed a class action lawsuit claiming that Burger King giant advertises the Impossible Burger as a vegan alternative to its meat burgers, yet they're all cooked on the same grill. Save it for the end of the article. Save it for the end of the article. Williams says his burger was contaminated by meat byproducts. He bought the burger in question at an Atlanta location. The lawsuit says Burger King has no disclosures on the menu that would notify a customer prior to purchase of the Impossible Whopper that it was cooked in a manner that would result in meat byproducts on the burger. He notes there have been numerous complaints posted online by outraged vegans. Williams not only wants damages, but he wants the judge to order Burger King to stop cooking Impossible Burgers and the OG burgers on the same grill. Oh my fucking god. Just reading that article makes me want to fucking drink. So let's drink. Where to begin? Jesus fucking Christ. The society we live in. The Sue happy society we live in. Oh my fucking god. First of all, enough common sense would tell you, oh, it's Burger King. They've made a history on cooking beef burgers. If I want vegan food, then maybe I should go to a vegan restaurant where they actually serve it, not some fast food poor attempt. You're going to Burger King to order vegan food when you potentially they could be have to fucking state it. It should be common fucking sense. Normally, I don't eat at Burger King a whole lot, but I'm gonna have to side with them on this one, 100%. You're smart. You should be smart enough to know. Oh, hey, Burger King makes their company started with beef patties. So, of course, they're going to cook their veggie and beef patties on the same fucking grill. Because the advertisement says, oh, the Impossible Whopper, it tastes just like a real Whopper. How do you think they get it to taste like a real Whopper? By cooking the Impossible Whopper patties on the same goddamn motherfucking grill as the original burgers. Oh, Cobra said it. I shouldn't get this worked up about it, but the fact that this is the crap that gives vegans a bad name in general, you know? The fact that Burger King's being sued because of this crap. And then the disclaimer, you should have to have it on. Okay. Common sense would tell you that, okay, like I said, if the burgers are cooked, the beef burgers are cooked on the grill, then the vegetable patties are going to be cooked on the same grill because that's how you get the vegetable burger to taste like beef because of the beef residue. You gotta stop and think, these vegans are so broke they can't afford to eat at an expensive, overpriced vegan restaurant, but they still want to feel healthy about their choices. So they go to Burger King of all places to get a fucking vegetable burger. You're buying a vegetable vegan burger from a restaurant that makes a living selling beef burgers, and then you want to complain because it tastes like beef. After Burger King clearly stated in their advertisement, hey, try the Impossible Whopper. It tastes just like the real thing. Oh my god, that'd be like me saying, oh my god, these cigarettes gave me cancer, so now I'm gonna sue. I'm like, well, you chose to smoke, so what the fuck did you expect? Now, I don't want to worry my fans. I'm in good health for the most part, considering everything. But I'm just making a fair point, you know? Burger King says have it your way, but at the same time, I'm like, you're looking for a healthy vegan alternative at a fast food chain that normally serves beef. And then you want to sit there and bitch. Here's the best part of it. Did you know the factories, the fucking goddamn factories that produce vegan food are twice as harmful for the environment as a regular cow fart? And here's the best part of it. If cow farts are so bad for the environment, let's kill the cows, turn their asses into beef and steak, and consume them. And then cow farts are no longer an issue in our society. But here's the even better part. Vegans' biggest arguments. You eat steak, you eat bacon cheeseburgers, you're a murdering son of a bitch. Well, the plant you're eating is also a living thing, so you want to call me a murderous bastard because I eat living things to sustain my appetites? What the fuck is that salad you're eating, you hypocritical? Oh, we. This rat's only getting started. I got 2 beers, 2 Mountain Dews. Cobra's on a roll tonight. So if you want to see this TMZ article for yourself, I'm going to copy and paste it in the description box below. But I feel like with this one, normally, when it comes to fast food, Burger King's not my immediate first choice. But I'm going to have to side with them on this one. Case in point, you had a couple who was suing Taco Bell because the advertisement wasn't what it said it was in real life. The couple was craving a $5 chalupa box, so they drive to their nearest Taco Bell to order 2 chalupa boxes. Now, if each chalupa box costs five motherfucking dollars, it's gonna be $10 plus tax. But this couple is too stupid to figure that out, so they're suing Taco Bell because your advertisement said the chalupa box was $5, yet when we ordered two, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, see the fine print in the commercial where it says prices may vary? Their argument was, well, Taco Bell hid the fine print. My argument is, who the fuck's gonna read the fine print? When you're seeing a fast food commercial trying to attract your attention with their delicious food, do you think you're going to be paying attention to that tiny ass words on the bottom of the screen? Fuck no. You're going to be sitting there going, fuck, now I want whatever the fuck's being advertised. That looks good. I mean, come on. If you're drunk as shit watching Adult Swim and a Taco Bell commercial comes on, you're not going to be giving a shit about the fine print. You see a chalupa box being advertised, all of a sudden you're craving chalupas from Taco Bell. That's how a fast food advertisement works. And when they say prices may vary at different locations, they don't take an. And this is the best part. Like the customers suing Taco Bell were suing them because Taco Bell wasted their gas money and lied to them in the advertisement. And I'm like, why is our society so goddamn sue happy? It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. I just want to fucking. But it's about to get better. If you think Okay, this is only the tip of the fucking iceberg right here. If you want to see this TMZ article, I'll post it in the description box below. But this other video is on YouTube, so you really can't miss it. How's QuickTime Player doing? We're still going. Awesome sauce. Alright, let's keep the show going.
Most name brand bars and body washes you rub on your skin are
Fuck this guy's soap ads. Tactical soap's where it's at.
classified by the FDA as synthetic.
Skip.
He's known for both wrestling.
Okay. Holy fucking shit. The second half of our rant. Last week's episode of South Park was so fucking edgy. It was like, bro, even I was having a hard time chuckling at that. And the fact that we have these issues in our society, it's enough to make you want to drink. Oh. So the YouTube channel, No Bullshit. The YouTube channel, No Bullshit, makes videos about various topics, including last week's episode of South Park, which South Park mocks women's sports explained. I liked the video because there were some fair points made. However, the undertone of the video came off as sexist towards women, so much like any King Cobra response video, I'm going to stop halfway in between each little take and insert my opinion. If you don't like it, I don't give a damn. Rolling Rock beer, boop, pour it. Mountain Dew soda pop, pour it. Mix it, tip it, and sip it. This is an adult beverage. Yeah. As these are adult topics. But I feel like dating is only going to get worse as each generation progresses. All the crap that our generation produces, the next generation inherits. Divorce rates are at an all-time high in our country. But that's completely off topic. South Park mocks women's sports explained. It's now been a week since South Park posted their new episode. Last week's Wednesday episode supposedly makes fun of women's sports, or does it bring on that classic South Park-esque style of bringing attention to social issues while making everybody laugh? Because that's what South Park does. They bring attention to social issues while making people chuckle just a little bit, like Now this video by No Bullshit is 15 minutes long. Let's make a drinking game out of this. Every time something sexist towards women is uttered, we're going to take a shot and explain. Oh, because I'm mansplaining. Yeah, how is it mansplaining when I'm coming in defense towards women? That was not a sexual pun intended. That was just wrong choice of words. But anyways,
Hello and welcome back to South Park Explained on No Bullshit. Today we've got another very exciting and very relevant episode to get into.
yes, this episode even had me going, oh gee, South Park, that's edgy. Oh, bro. I chuckled here and there at some of the moments, but even I was like, bro, that's...
pertaining to some recent controversies and discussions being had about women's sports. This episode's also become rather popular this week for the ways it's attacking these subjects, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Things start off with another new intro for the show this week. Well, they actually use a joke TV show intro they made on South Park last year, one about the new characters called the PC Babies. For those who don't know, the PC Babies are the children of PC Principal and Strong Woman. And while those parental characters have represented the growing middle-aged section of social justice warriors and politically correct culture,
Okay, I go to light a cigarette and I accidentally light the filter on fire. You ever done that? Fucking, that's nasty. I'm like, why isn't it? Because you lit the wrong end, stupid. Okay, to give you a context, because South Park has political humor, the PC Babies are basically a result of South Park making fun of the overly PC culture we live in. And you can call me an asshole, but it's the truth. Society is way too fucking politically correct. It's just as obnoxious as not being politically correct enough. But how do we define that boundary line? That's beside the point right now, but yeah. And South Park doing one of its mock make fun of type intros where it's not the usual theme song, but a theme to the episode where they're trying something new with this season. They're like, let's do the theme song based on what the storyline's going to be about. It's a creative twist instead of just doing the original theme song for every episode. People get tired of that shit, so I get why they're doing it. And it makes the episodes a bit more funny because it's like, in this case, the PC Babies intro is a reference to last season. Uh, but
the show this week. Well, they actually use a joke TV show intro they made on South Park last year, one about the new characters called the PC Babies. For those who don't know, the PC Babies are the children of PC Principal and Strong Woman. And while those parental characters have represented the growing middle-aged section of social justice warriors and politically correct culture,
okay, the long story short, you have millennials who are having kids of their own being triggered and overly offended by everything they see. And then that passes on to the next generation who's equally more sensitive than their parents, and then that creates the overly PC culture we live in. And of course, South Park rips on it the way they do.
spreading across America right now, well, their PC babies now represent the younger, more coming of age woke crowd. So while the babies are, well, babies, they also represent older kids, teens, college age students, and even young adults who are growing up in PC culture right now. These are the types who get constantly offended and triggered and upset by anything that's even remotely not politically correct. Sometimes they call these people the snowflake generation. And, well, the PC babies represent this too, by constantly being on the verge of crying and freaking out in every episode they're in, multiple times. And it's being done for various hilarious reasons. For example, at the beginning of this new episode, which is called Bored Girls, by the way, we'll get to why later, but early on in this, we get a few topical references and a woke PC reaction from the babies to them. In this early scene, the PC babies get upset when they're watching Mulan on Disney Plus.
Oh, why?
Recently released streaming platform made to compete with Netflix. And while Mulan might seem like something the SJWs would love, it's starring a minority female who cross-dresses no less, but PC Principal actually explains why the babies are upset here. It's because Mulan is actually outdated now, and it creates a straw dog character that doesn't address trans issues properly anymore,
Oh my god.
or something like that. And
Oh my god. Here we go. Okay, people are taking this. Okay, this. Oh my god, South Park, dude. This episode. This fucking episode. This episode had me thinking a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, first of all, Milan is not outdated. It's not about transgender issues, it's about sexist issues. Milan is a strong, independent female who wanted to fight for her country, and she couldn't fight for her country because her country says only men are allowed to join the military, so she disguised herself as a man to escape her troubled home life. That's what it's about, plain and fucking simple. And then, of course, these PC bastards gotta be like, oh, Milan's an old Disney movie, so they gotta make it about something else completely, and it's just like, why? And knowing the PC culture we live in, this is pretty much on point. Like, god damn it.
And before this PC baby crying fit interrupted them, PC Principal and Strong Woman were discussing something else related to the main plot of this episode. Strong Woman is training for an upcoming women's sporting event, and she's looking pretty buff and determined about it too. But as you'll soon see, that Strong Woman competition isn't going to work out the way they all think. Before we get to that though, let's discuss the next scene and the B story for this episode. At the South Park school, the boys have started a club with a pretty funny title. It's called the Dice Studs Gamer Club. In it are Cartman, Butter, Stan, and others who enjoy playing these old-fashioned tabletop board games which tend to use various kinds of dice, of course. This appears to just be a sort of welcome distraction too, and a side story for this episode that dives into something nerdy and fun at first, but it also quickly ties into the main plot eventually too. In fact, right away we see signs of that when, at the first Dice Studs meeting, Mr. Mackey forces the boys to allow a couple of girls to join their club, despite them being pretty much against it. At first, the boys think the girls won't know how to play and it might slow them down and not be as fun. But as it turns out, the girls are actually really good at this, and they know all the rules specifically. But this then results in the boys not wanting to play with them again too, because now they will just lose at the games and get frustrated still. Back to the Strong Woman story now, because her tale is about to take off here. This section is what everyone is talking about this week too, so let's finally see what all this hype is about. Here, Strong Woman speaks in a TV interview before the sporting event begins. Things seem to be going well too until her new competition shows up. Now she will be facing a new transgender athlete named Heather Swanson, who has an eerie resemblance to a famous and fallen old wrestler. When Swanson is introduced here, it is revealed that she is an extremely muscular, bearded athlete who is also a parody of Randy the Macho Man Savage, a legendary wrestler and a bit of a TV icon too. He's known for both wrestling and his world-famous Slim Jim commercials as well. You know that old line, "Snap it to a Slim Jim, eat me." He used to say that. And in South Park here, this character called Heather Swanson states that she only started identifying as a woman just a few weeks ago.
This is a real political issue in a society that is transgender woke. Men who cannot dominate in their own sports will pretend to be transgender just so they can dominate in women's sports. And there are a select few who actually are trans. But a lot of these assholes are just taking advantage of the kind hearted people on the left wing. And South Park makes a brutal point of acknowledging that.
And eventually, Swanson easily defeats the other girls at this female competition to easily win the contest. Strong Woman unfortunately finishes in second place, which is a big letdown for her and her family. And this all, of course, is a pretty big parody of the recent trend in real-world women's sports. Transgender athletes who often transition shortly before the events, well, they have been taking over women's sports and
Okay, you want to claim to be transgender and you want. Fuck off, dude. Do you think if a woman claimed to be a man transitioning and she said she wanted to compete in men's sports, she would get laughed out of the goddamn stadium? But if a man claims to be a transgender and says he's transitioning into a woman, he can openly compete in women's sports and dominate without anyone saying that's kind of unfair. And that's the problem with our fucking society. Oh, Cobra's telling it like it is. Oh, it feels so good.
in recent years, dominating the winnings and also breaking many women's records, if you can even call them that anymore, with a straight face. Now, with all that said, there's a bit more to get into with this women's sports discussion here. You see, typically we just call them sports, right? When you go to watch the National Football League or NFL, you don't say you're turning on men's football. No, you
Exactly. Why do sports have to be gender based? It's sports, period. Doesn't matter who. if it's women competing or men competing, it should just be sports. Why is sports gender neutral? You know why do I even make this argument? Because I want to fight for gender equality and because I respect women. That's why. But why is it that this is even an argument? I
You just say, let's watch some football. Just like how if you're watching the NBA, you say, let's turn on basketball. And sure, these pro leagues happen to be all male, but most of the time it's not even because they have a strict guys only rule there. It's because the pro leagues only take the best of the best. And in the world of most sports, the best are almost always 99% men. This is due to a variety of reasons, which we don't really need to get into
uh,
much, but basically, it's because of biology, bigger.
oh my god, take another shot. God damn it. I'm going to be so drunk by the end of this rant video. Uh, the reason why the Athletic Association chooses men, according to this bullshit, is because men are genetically stronger than women. This age old argument that men are tougher than women, even if it's true, I've seen some pussy ass men and I've seen some strong ass women, so this argument kind of, even if it's true to some extent, has a couple of flaws with it, you know? Oh my god, dude. I'm already drunk and this is gonna make me drunker. Oh.
Bone structures, puberty, and it also has a lot to do with the testosterone hormone, which is more prevalent in males.
Oh, yes, that hormone testosterone. Because men exhibit more testosterone, they're automatically stronger. Well, yes, it's true, and I hate saying it. Before you call me a sexist, hear me out. Men are expected to be the tougher sex in our society, and I fucking hate it. Men are not allowed to express their emotions, and here's the best part of it. Women will complain, why can't you be more sensitive? Show your emotions. And as soon as we show our emotions, quit being a pussy and man up. Ah! I have to compare piss. Hold up. Am I the only one that sees how ass backwards that is? Women expect men to make the first move and man up, but then as soon as we do, we get told we're sexist. And why can't you give women a turn? And why can't you be more sensitive? Uh, in a previous rant on YouTube, we discovered that women, not all women, but some women expect men to do everything, and as soon as we try to step in, we're stepping too far, and it's just a huge fucking headache, and it makes no sense. And this kind of somewhat proves it, but oh Jesus fucking Christ, making this into a drinking game is dangerous. Every time something sexist or stereotypical is uttered against men or women, let's take a shot. To be fair, no bullshit makes a couple of fair points, but
Regardless of the whys, though, it is pretty hard to deny this is true, and men dominating regular best of the best sports is also what's resulted in the creation of women's sports.
Yes. No, what results in that is our society saying that only men can do sports. That's what fucking creates women's sports. It is people telling women you can't do this, and then them saying fucking watch me. Very much parallel to what you see Cartman and his friends going through with the Die Studs group. They got their own thing going. They don't want women joining, so women are like, well, if you got your own Die Studs group, then we're going to create our own group. And all of a sudden, the episode starts to have parallel, and it makes a bit more sense, doesn't it?
Now, forgive me if this is too obvious, but I feel there is a need to spell this out now since women's sports do get propped up and misrepresented by a lot of the pro SJW crowd and the mainstream media now. So while they never say this directly or point this out specifically, when, say, for example, there was all that hype around the US girls soccer team winning the championship, while they don't like to mention this, I do think it's worth noting here for clarity. Basically, women's sports is like a minor league sport, or like playing AAA baseball or Bush League racing. It's a dumbed down, lower version of regular sports. Nothing wrong with that either, but it's kind of offensive when they like to pretend they're equivalent to men. And even sometimes, like with girls soccer, they try and say they deserve the same amount of money as men, even though their sporting leagues don't draw on as many crowds. And I'm not trying to be mean or attack their thing here either. It's just, this is the truth, and
Okay, god damn it. Not trying to be mean or attack no bullshit, but here we go. You want to sit there and say that women don't deserve the same amount of money as men when it comes to sports because not enough people pay attention to them? I disagree. I think if people cannot watch women perform in sports as well as men, then they're a sexist, period. If you're going to watch UFC men fighting, then why not watch UFC Women's League? Funny thing enough, you never hear the feminazis complaining about UFC not having a unisex division, but someone says boys will be boys and on a t-shirt and it gets attacked and criticized. Not to be mean, but you know what? The only fucking reason women's sports isn't taken seriously in our fucking society is because our society is incredibly sexist towards women. The idea that a man might be might be less good at sports than some woman, it's unheard of, right? This is what it's like to be the tougher sex. You got your ass kicked by a female. You're a huge pussy. And here's the thing of it. I've seen some badass women. I've seen some pussified men. So really, just because men are the tougher sex doesn't mean shit, really. It doesn't. And the only reason women's sports aren't taken seriously is because society is sexist and because women are treated the way they're treated, and it's unfair. But what the fuck do I know?
it needs to be said, these women athletes could not even come close to making it in the actual professional leagues, so they resulted in falling back to the women's leagues, which a lot of the times is just a charity case.
Oh my fucking god, this guy. Oh yeah, because apparently women can't make it in the professional athletes world according to no bullshit. But I'm like, okay, I've seen plenty of female athletes that have made it as a professional athlete. Ronda Rousey, badass UFC female fighter. Um, Anna Kournikova, a badass tennis player. There are several female athletes. Those are just two to name a few. Calling women's sports a charity case, that's pretty disgusting. Like, okay, how is women's sports a charity case?
It gives women medals and attention because liberals love to prop up ladies and minorities in order to virtue signal and feel better. I mean, the entire WNBA, the Women's Basketball League, is paid for by the actual NBA, and they've never earned money for years, ever. So basically, the definition of a charity case.
Okay. So because some bigoted, self-centered assholes want to make themselves feel better in our sexist, hypocritical society, let's give women a chance and give them a medal for doing absolutely nothing so we can feel better about ourselves and so these women feel strong. All of a sudden, that's pinned on women's sports because some bigoted asshole wants to feel better about themselves, you know. Because of that bullshit, once again, women get the blunt of the blame for women's sports being a charity case because some self centered liberal douche wants to feel good about themselves. So they. Why are we having this discussion, YouTube? The toilet's still going. Hold up. So, because some liberal douche that makes liberals look bad in general, Asperger's are farted. Excuse me. Because, oh, god damn it, dude, that's nasty. Woo-wee. Fire in the hole. Okay, so because some liberal douche who makes other liberals look bad does this shit, it automatically makes women's sports look better. This is why sexism towards women is a real thing, because it never gets seen as an attack on women when liberals are stepping in to defend them. But then, of course, these people who are so quick to judge PC culture without learning a couple things. Before you judge PC culture, keep in mind that being too politically correct is a pain in the ass. Being under politically correct, being so unpolitically correct you offend everyone makes you an asshole. So you gotta find a balance between being an asshole and a pain in the ass. I don't know. Is that the best way to put it? Probably not. When you're so politically correct, it's annoying and you're just like, oh, great, another snowflake. Everything's offensive, everything's sexist, everything's racist. Oh, lordy. Or when you're so unpolitically correct, you offend everyone with your negative bullshit. I don't know, YouTube. Oh, shit. Okay, I smoke when I go out to the bar, so that's alright. I don't care. Load of a smoker's cough from hanging out at the bar. I don't care. Alright. More alcohol. Oh, joyous.
Also brings us back to South Park now, who is making fun of another new trend of how male athletes who can't make it in the pros, well, they just decide to transition late in life and take up women's sports instead. And they're now becoming big time leaders, winners, and record breakers in that realm, easily. And, well, whether or not those transitions are genuine is certainly questionable, but even if we assume they are, these trans athletes are certainly taking advantage of things. They're using woke pro trans culture, which is at an all time high right now, and they're turning it back against the SJWs, who now can't even call this bullshit out on their own side. It's pretty lame and messed up, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to watch. I mean, these guys deserve this shit. They made this bed for themselves, and now they have to lie in it. And
Okay, nobody deserves that bullshit. And could you imagine being so politically correct that when some douchebag asshole male who's so sexist and macho egotistical he can't handle a woman kicking his ass in sports, and yet somehow he can't succeed as a male in his own sports, so he decides to be a macho prick and say, oh hey, and take advantage of this PC woke culture we live in. It sounds pretty disgusting when you think about it. Someone pretending to be transgender just so they can be better at sports. Really, it shows you how competitive the sexes are, and quite frankly, it's unnecessary. Women and men, women and men live in different worlds, and quite frankly, I'm tired of women and men trying to compete with each other. It's unfair. Women and men are stronger and weaker at certain things. So it's kind of unfair to sit there and say, well, it's bad enough that women compare themselves to other women. It's bad enough that men constantly compare themselves to other men. But now we got women and men comparing themselves to each other. And you wonder why people are pissed. Oh, geez. That might be a little too far, but I don't care.
also, that's the whole trick of this episode, too. And it's a pickle PC principal and strong woman struggle with throughout the entire story.
When you're so politically correct that you're afraid of inserting your own opinion without coming off as an asshole, I mean, that's the problem with being too PC. Is even when you know, okay, hey, you know what? Some assholes are taking advantage of the PC culture, and I want to state my opinion because these people are pricks. And if I come off as politically incorrect because I'm calling people out on their bullshit, well, that's society and their problem, not mine. That's how I see it.
Swanson beats Strong Woman, PC Principal almost wants to say something about it not being fair in the car ride home, but he can't even speak freely among his own family because if he even comes close to criticizing a trans person, the PC babies will freak out. And then later on, when Heather Swanson visits Strong Woman and Principal at their own homes to brag about
They have to include Macho Man Randy Savage in this episode. Like, I kind of feel like they could have picked an asshole wrestler who was racist and bigoted in some way. It would have been a lot funnier making fun of them. But that's South Park for you. Rest in peace, Randy Savage. God damn it, dude. That's a tasty beer, but yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim, brother. Oh, yeah. They could have used any wrestler, really, any male wrestler for this character. The only reason they chose Randy Savage was because it was the most iconic and most recognizable. But I digress.
his victory, well, they get into an argument with PC Principal and eventually call him a transphobe. PCP is called this just for asking this person to leave his house when they weren't even invited in the first place. But even standing up for yourself and possibly saying something a little bit harsh to a person like this, that will get you called a T-phobe in a heartbeat, just as we saw today. And this tough position PC Principal and strong woman are put in is also the crux of this episode too. They struggle to balance their extreme PC principles, which are being starkly challenged by this crazed athlete who has clearly taken advantage of the left's kindness and their unwillingness to challenge anyone who identifies as trans. Another one of my favorite parts of this women's athletic competition thing is the new original song that was made for it, and it's
Basically, you have people who are really trans and people who do it because they want attention, and South Park's just ripping on it. These assholes who use transgender to get attention versus people who actually are. Yeah. I'm proud of what I got. You ain't cutting nothing off. Beside the point. We're not even towards the end of the freaking episode. We're already like, hey, where's the beer? Making this into a drinking game. Ugh.
Called Strong Woman, which is said throughout. It's a good, upbeat tempo, workout kind of song that has funny lyrics in it too. And even, it goofs on girls' sports stars a little bit if you're paying attention, saying they barely break a.
Before you call me a sexist asshole because I agreed with no bullshit about women and men being genetically different. You said men were genetically stronger than women. You're a sexist. Okay, you want to be the tougher sex? By all means. Next time you're having the worst period of your life and you're cramping and everything sucks, and someone looks at you and says, oh, they're just menstrual cramps. Quit being a pussy crybaby and suck it up. Well, welcome to being a guy. At least when women are upset or hurt, society takes their issue seriously. If men are upset or hurt, nobody gives a shit because men are expected to be the tougher sex. They are accepted, if that makes any sense. And of course, women say, well, women can give birth to children, men can't do that. That's always their fucking go to. Every time this argument comes up if men are tougher than women, the first thing women say is, well, we can give birth to children. And I actually feel sorry for you because the crap that women have to go through because they bear children, it's ridiculous. My point being is, okay, like I said earlier, you want to claim to be this female transgendered superstar, but you're competing in women's sports and you still have a dick and no boobs. And I'm like, wait a minute. You want to sit there and say you're a transgendered athlete? Okay, chop your dick off, get a vagina, fucking get yourself some fake tits, and there you go. Pump yourself full of estrogen in place of your testosterone, and then we'll have a serious discussion about transgenders joining the fucking female league. But men coming out and saying they're trans 2 weeks before the performance, seems kind of suspicious.
A sweat at one point in the song. This shows that South Park does understand that women's sports is a bit of a joke to begin with. And on top of that, it's being made into a ridiculous circus by these new opportunist women like Heather Swanson. Back at.
Okay, the only reason women's sports is seen as a joke is because our society is sexist and no one takes women seriously. Oh.
At school now, Carmen.
And of course, these assholes who take advantage of our politically correct culture to getting. People take advantage of our politically correct culture to gain further access in life, and it's just sad.
and his other dice studs, they continue to struggle with the girls invading their favorite pastime. And now we can see how the dice studs situation parallels the women's sports one too. Both involve hobbies, pastimes, or sports, and the discussion about whether or not to allow both genders to participate in one way or another. But when Mr. Mackey and the school refuse to make tabletop children's clubs male only, this results in Cartman and company trying to go over their heads and pleading their case to the United States government. Here, Cartman even uses his friend Scott Malcolmson for leverage when he introduces Scott as having what he calls terminal diabetes, trying to get sympathy here. This stunt ends up backfiring on the boys though, because a little bit later they discover the girls have started their own board game club called Board Girls, which is also the name of this episode. And as it turns out, the girls club is much better, it's bigger, and it has more members and a larger variety of games too. It looks like more fun, but the boys are quickly kicked out of Board Girls when Mr. Mackey comes in and announces that the government has made these clubs gender exclusive now, giving the boys what they previously asked for earlier but now probably regret. Back to the PC family, who are still in disarray after the unwelcome visit from Heather Swanson. Later we even find out that Swanson actually has ulterior motives here. Strong Woman actually reveals that she used to date Swanson back in the day, but after she broke up with him, he has held a grudge ever since and vowed to get back at her one day. And that day apparently came when Swanson transitioned in order to beat Strong Woman at that female athlete competition. And now he's gloating over his win and going on to win all these other so-called female sports events. This is a specific motivation for Swanson, and it also can be seen as a placeholder for other trans athletes taking over women's sports now too. The point is, they are doing it for other reasons, not because they think they're women or for the love of the game. And they don't think they're the best either. They just want to win at something for another reason. Perhaps for a payback reason like with Swanson, or for another personal one like wanting to finally win after losing in real sports for years. Or they also could be trying to get more money or attention or something else like that. Finally, PC Principal gets fed up with things and he goes on to confront Swanson as he's having another interview celebrating her success, this time winning women's mixed martial arts. PC Principal interrupts her on set though, causing another public argument. Here, PCP tries to address the issues of men going through puberty as males and then transitioning late in life in order to compete in women's sports unfairly. But he falls short here because of his politically correctness, which once again has stopped him from saying how he really feels. And then, in the heat of the moment, PC Principal eventually lightly shoves Swanson, which results in her flopping like LeBron James and diving through a table, breaking it, in order to try to make PCP look bad and offensive. This works, and in an effort to make up for it, PC Principal eventually has Swanson come to the school and speak to the children about things, in order to try and make things better between them. This results in a final and very funny and very relevant moment where Heather Swanson prances around speaking in front of the school children in a pretty inappropriate way. Swanson is already typically dressed in a very revealing way too, wearing
Okay, I I don't even know why that's a thing, but people who drag queen or cross dress are exposing themselves to children, and it's disgusting. And South Park touches up on this issue by using the same sexist asshole that pretends to be a woman and take advantage of PC culture to win female events. Like, South Park had a way of making fun of a bunch of issues in one episode. And you stop to think, okay, you may hate South Park because you think it's crude and inappropriate, but you stop and think about it and you're just like, bro, that just fucked my head. South Park literally found a way to touch on a bunch of issues in one episode. Like, bro, you start looking at South Park from that angle, and all of a sudden, it becomes funnier to some extent. I guess I don't know. Long story short, South Park pretty much talked about the issues, and you see the so-called transgendered athlete ripping off their clothes at South Park Elementary, dancing around in a banana hammock, like, look at me, you know what I'm saying, kind of bullshit. And you get the gist of what's going on. Uh, oh, fucking hell. beer burps. You know, this fucking bullshit in our society is just. Where's the beer? There's the beer. When I get my YouTube money on Friday, I want to order a couple bars of tactical soap. I'll be giving bars of tactical soap away for Christmas to as many of my male friends slash male relatives as I can. You know, because that's part of the holidays, man. Looky here. That beer is emptied into the glass, and this video shall pass. If you like the kind of rants that I do, subscribe for more. Like, oh, there's so many issues with this. I don't know, dude. Oh, there's so many fucking issues with this. I'm just like, okay, if I talked about all the issues with this crap in one video, it would take for ages to explain and break down. It's just like, uh, half the time you try to keep up with the logic of it and it gives you a fucking headache. We live in a society where women are perfectly encouraged to be a man hater, where benign sexism, yes, benign sexism is a thing. You hold a door for a woman and she gets pissed off because it's sexist. You're just trying to get down my pants. I don't need no man to hold the door for me. And it's like, really? I was just trying to be a polite person, but that's how it's going to be taken? Okay. Where's the alcohol? Oh, wait. There it is. Right there, YouTube. I farted. Smells like Asperger's. Oh, he made a fart joke about his autism. That's politically incorrect. I don't care. That's precisely the point. I'll make fun of my Asperger's and crack a joke about farts in the same cycle. People see that and be like, dude, that's funny shit. Y'all making fun of your Asperger's and making a fart joke at the same time. That's brilliant. And some people are gonna look at that and go, that's immature. And some people are gonna look at that and say, oh my god, you politically incorrect bastard. And that's exactly the point South Park's trying to prove. Is there are different levels of political correctness. You're either too politically correct or you're not politically correct enough. There is really no in between, and that's the sad fucking truth of it. You know when the haters fuck with you, fuck them. Just straight up fuck them. They're not worth your time, man. Let the haters talk shite. This video is almost an hour long. Yeah. Take another squizzle and pass out. Anyways, tubes, thanks for watching the rant. Get your cocobras later.